Hey everybody, it's September 9th, 2025, and I was hoping to make a longer video to share some good news that I think is really important and motivational, but I am having trouble with my storage in my cloud, so I'm not going to be able to make that long of a video. I'm going to get right into the news and hopefully I will have my cloud storage solution figured out so that we can talk more about all of this in detail in the future. The scale today said 237. So, yes, I technically weigh more today than when I started my August health challenge back at the beginning of August, which I was like 235.6, something like that. And yes, I can see where it is very frustrating to me and folks like me to try to put forth consistent effort to do the right thing, to do the healthy thing, to be consistent with activity. And instead of seeing the scale go in the right direction, it goes up and down and up and down, or in the wrong direction. Similarly, if you're like me and you're desperate to feel better, and you start the month and by the end of the month you don't feel better, it can also be very discouraging. But I do want to assert that part of why I was feeling worse and worse towards the end of the month is I didn't realize it until I was tested, but I was coming down with COVID. And boy, that is the sickest that I have been since 2020, which is probably the first time I had COVID, although it was before they had tests and everything. I was very sick between March and May of 2020, and I'm pretty fairly sure it was COVID. Ever since that point in time, I've had a lot of trouble with my breathing. I'm not going to go into detail in this video because I don't have the time, but that is part of why I'm desperate to be more active, more regularly, feel better with my breathing, all that kind of thing, as well as the weight loss, which will also hopefully make it easier for me to breathe and feel better. So, yeah, it's frustrating when those things don't end up, you know, showing obvious improvement. But let me tell you the good news, the important news, the thing to pay attention to. I've been very good about going to the doctor over the years for my annual physical, annual blood work, and I did just this past couple few weeks before getting sick, and I was looking over my blood work because they even told me that I have some really remarkable, their word, that's the word they used, improvements in my blood work. For anybody who doesn't know, in December of 2023, I was diagnosed with some pretty significant health issues, including autoimmune atrophic gastritis, which causes me to have trouble with my digestion and absorption of nutrients, including a sort of persistence in anemia and also problems with not everybody who gets autoimmune atrophic gastritis gets this other problem, but I did, which is growing gastric carcinoids or neuroendocrine tumors in my stomach. So, yeah, ever since December of 2023, when I was diagnosed with those things, I mean, I was always trying to improve my health or lose weight or whatever, before then. But ever since, my breathing troubles really magnified because I have a diagnosis of chronic asthma as well. And then as my breathing problems after 2020 got worse and worse, or more and more persistent, I was diagnosed with a chronic obstructive asthma and a moderately severely compromised pulmonary function score. I'm going this week to get another pulmonary function test. So we'll see if that shows any improvement. But anyway, back to the blood work. So I'm going to throw some numbers at you because I want you to see how, even though externally, or even how I'm feeling, may not be very validating or motivating or encouraging because it may not seem like I'm making progress. Ever since I've been trying to focus on my breathing more and more since 2020, and my breathing health and my overall health with my digestive diagnoses in 2023, I feel like things have been going in a good direction. So let me share some numbers with you. Iron is supposed to be 27 to 159. In 2014, I was low at 25. I'm now up to 34, which is considered normal. My iron saturation, which normal is supposed to be 15 to 55, I was dangerously low in 2016. They were considering blood transfusion and, some pretty extreme stuff, emergency hysterectomy, all kind of stuff. I am now 11. Now that's still low, but it's up from 7 and it's going in the right direction, and I have room for improvement, but I was happy to see that my iron saturations are rising. My ferritin normal numbers are supposed to be 15 to 150. I was low in 2020 with a number of only 6, and now I am up to 27, which is considered normal. Still room for improvement, but moving in the right direction. My white blood cell counts were normal is supposed to be 3.4 to 10.8. In 2021, I had 11.4, which was high, and I am down to 5.8, which is considered normal. Now, white blood cells counts will go up and down all the time, but considering that I had this blood work done right before being diagnosed with COVID, I just think that's a really good number. And if you look at the chart, it's this very strong, steep, steady drop. So I think that also has implications as far as my level of inflammation. Like maybe I'm not having as much inflammation as I did back several years ago. My hemoglobin, which normal is supposed to be 11.1 to 15.9 in 2021, it was only 11, so low. It is now 11.7, so up a little bit, the very low end of normal, room for improvement, but it is technically considered normal, and I'm moving in the right direction. More blood cell numbers. The MCV, which has to do with the volume of my red blood cells, normal is 79 to 97. In 2021, I was low at 74. I'm up to a normal number of 79 now, the very, very lowest end of normal, but moving in the right direction. My MCH, which is supposed to be 26.6 to 30, this is like the height of my red blood cells. In 2021, it was low, 23.6. It is still low, but it's 26.1, so an improvement. My MCHC, which is something like the mean corpuscular hemoglobin concentration or something like that, it's supposed to be 31.5 to 35.7. In 2021, it was low, 31.3. I am now up to a normal number, 32.2. Neutrophils, which are supposed to be 40 to 60%. In 2021, I was high at 79, and I am still a little high at 62%, but that number is very close to normal now. So I have to make a little bit more progress, and I'll be in the normal range. What are neutrophils? I think neutrophils have also to do with like infection and response to things like inflammation and stuff. Okay, now wrapping it up. Total cholesterol is supposed to be 100 to 199. In 2023, I had 224. It was high. I'm down to 190, which is the normal range. It's the upper end of the normal range. I probably, because I'm obese, I still need to go down, but I'm 190, so I'm in the normal range now. Triglycerides are supposed to be 0 to 149. In 2021, they were normal, but they were a 101. And now in 2025, they're still normal, but they're 86, so they've dropped. My triglycerides have dropped. That's good. The HDL, which is considered your good cholesterol, is supposed to be anything greater than 39. In 2021, it was only 39, so that was considered low. I am now 46, which is considered normal, and that is an improvement because you want your good cholesterols to be higher. The LDL cholesterols, which are the bad cholesterols and you want them to be lower, are supposed to be 0 up to 99. In 2023, mine were high. They were 161. They're still high, but they're only 128. So they went down from 161 to 128. My LDL to HDL ratio, which is supposed to be 0 to 3.2, was high in 2023 because it was 3.8. But this year, it's 2.8. So that's considered normal. My TSH, which is supposed to be 0.45 to 4.5, in 2022 was normal at 1.79, but is a better number of normal in 2025, which is 1.810. So even my TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone, is going up, which is a little interesting because I'm in menopause, and menopause is supposed to, have a negative impact on that, but I'm not going to argue with numbers moving in a better direction. My B12, which is a big problem for me because of my gut disorders, and I need to take injections, and I take sublinguals for that. It is supposed to be 232 to 1,245 for a normal range. In 2023, it was low of 199, and it is now up to 824, which is normal in 2025. I'm so stoked about that because B12 is so important for so many things. I'm not going to have time to get into it. My screen keeps flashing me low storage, low storage. So I'm going to wrap this up with my last couple that are just like such good news. There's something called apolipoprotein B. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's supposed to be less than 90. And in 2024, mine was high. It was 106. It's now still high, but it's 90. So it's down from 106 to 90, and I'm almost like so close. I'm a hair from normal range on that. And the reason why this one's important is because this one correlates with a increased risk of heart disease. And my digestive disorders also predispose me to developing heart disease, as well as my breathing problems predispose me to developing heart disease. And in my family, there's a significant history of heart disease. My mother's father died of a massive heart attack when he was only like 52. I'm 54. So it's very good news for me that one improved. And then the last one that I'll share with you, and then I got to shut down before my phone dies, or my storage dies rather, is my insulin, my blood insulin numbers. Now, this is not a standard one that they always test for, but they've been watching it on me at my request because I've had trouble in the past with it being too high, and having high insulins in your blood, can... I don't have time to get into it, but it's bad. It's not good, and you don't want high insulin. So a normal insulin number is supposed to be 2.6 up to 24.9. And